Quickly talk about the opening here before we go back. What did we miss? It's a Lopez MVL playing the Spanish as white. I'm going to guess something we see a lot today, unless he's in the mood for an Italian. But don't be surprised if we get a lot of Ruy Lopez.
And knight c6 back to b8 is probably something for our newer viewers who are like, what are they doing? My coaches always taught me to bring my pieces out, not to undevelop them. But the knight on d7 is more stable than knight on c6 because knight c6 was left undefended. There could be ideas of attacking that piece from d7. You also allow the c7 pawn to move up to c5, which actually we likely will see at some point from Magnus.
Knight on d7 is also flexible, right? In some outside ideas, sometimes the knight can go to f8, or in this case, c5 to e6 with the bishop coming. So this is the Breyer. If it's not exactly the Breyer variation, it's the Breyer idea. Am I right about that, partner? This idea where you voluntarily retreat and come to d7.
I'm always mixing up my opening names in the Breyer and the Zaitsev and all this stuff, but we know the idea.
We'll just take my word for it because Breyer's Ice Cream, not an official sponsor of this show. But you can probably get some Breyer's Ice Cream via DoorDash using Anjuno, get 5% cash back with all your purchases, your favorite brands. Use DoorDash and order some ice cream. I don't know if that's a thing, but you probably could.
I mean, are you trying to have me tune out this early? Get me on a sugar rush and go get some ice cream?
No, I'm trying to have you focus here and not thinking about Taylor Swift. Though chat loved it. Patrick J. Adams on Chess TV says you can't wait for Magnus to start dating Taylor Swift. That would be a celebrity couple I could get behind right there. I'm sure they're both dating other people. No rumors being cast, whatever. But there you go. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into their personal lives right now. Instead, I'm going to focus on the chess, which is what you hired me to do. And this position remains locked up here. White has control over the A file. So if we try to think about threats or potential plans, a rook a7, that kind of timely move can be a problem for black. But for now, that's not really much of anything. The move c6 allows black to consider d6 to d5. The pawn on d5, when it gets there, will be protected by a pawn on c6. You're expanding, you're challenging white's nice center, and Magnus does just that.
Whoa, look at the instant response to d5. Knight takes e5, sacrificing a piece to the analysis board with Shalst. What goes on here? I assume if we take c6, you win e7. There's something here on c5. What's the idea? Oh, I guess you might just take the rook instead. Well, Robert?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to evaluate in my head and figure all this stuff out, but I forgot that sometimes, hey, you're supposed to talk even when you don't know. But yeah, I guess you're getting two pieces for the rook, right? So the rook on b8 will be captured, and white will have taken another pawn in the process. So it feels like black is better, though. I like the pieces.
Yeah. I mean, Maxime played knight takes e5 so fast, you would have thought it was prep, and that was why I paused and got excited. And here we go. We're going to find out. Is there something besides just settling on the two pieces for the rook? No, there isn't. And I'm with you, not just from the perspective that we kind of usually like the two pieces versus the rook if it's still a middle game. But I don't see a clear way that Maxime gets more. Okay, this is interesting. He's going to get d4 with tempo. I do kind of like that. Your thoughts on the compensation here, or do we still just like the two bishops? We like the bishops.
We definitely like the bishops, but it is at least aesthetically looking better for white because you have these pawns in the center. So the idea for black is to challenge those pawns. But if you can create a pawn chain, right, if pawns are protecting one another, then it's much more difficult for black to call those pawns weaknesses. So white's next move, or at least in the near future, will likely be a move like f3 and potentially c3 on the other side. And then you have these d4 and e4 pawns nicely protected.
I like it.
So I do think, there's chances for white, but ultimately black must be better in this situation. The evaluation bar agrees.
Yeah, and again, the two bishops are just often too much, right? If our boy Hammer was here, he'd be giving a shameless plug to his video lesson series on chess.com using the bishop pair. But this is usually too much, jokes aside, because eventually positions become open in chess. And you get some sort of weak color complex, whether it be on the dark squares or the light squares, and without any sort of counterpart to challenge, especially in time pressure, Robert, right? The bishops are just so nuts. Now, to play counter or play devil's advocate, obviously, if you can hold the center and somehow get the rooks coordinated, maybe. But I just, oh man, I really like the Norwegians' chances to jump out to a 2-0 lead.
And already there's pressure on both of those pawns. That's the annoying thing for Maxime is he needs the time to coordinate everything and make sure that it's all protected. But after f3, as I said, he'll probably have to play c3 in the future. And pawn chains are only as strong as their base pawns.
Robert.
You'll notice the g2 to e. Oh no!
See that move I highlighted?
I don't think it works.
Oh my god, how nasty would it be?
I don't think it works.
I already called one queen sack for Magnus. What?
I was saying, I think White can just play c3 there and defend it, but
sorry I had to interrupt. I got so excited about that
mindset.
idea. Double pin. All right. Oh, but look at this. He's just rushing the alpha pawn, that being Harry over here, reference to alpha 0, and this is what happens when the dark squares are unchallenged. So, sorry, continue.
No, I was just going to say that pawn chains are only as strong as their base pawn. And here the pawn chain has changed. It was g2 to e4, and I thought that was nice and sturdy. But because black put pressure on the diagonal, he went g3. And now what black wants to do is undermine one of these pawns here. He's going after the g3 pawn. But what you'd ideally like to go after is the f3 pawn, because if f3 is knocked down, then e4 comes next. It's just not going to be so easy, as you'd have to play moves like g5 and g4 for black, but then you expose your own king. So it's more of a long-term goal, not happening now. And rook a5 using the a file, very good idea by Maxime. I love that move. But you talk about full board awareness, right? And that's exactly what that is. I still think e5 is some point got to be on the agenda. He didn't go for it before rook a5 or after. I wonder if maybe he should have. But okay, he's trying to hold his pawns together. You got to give White credit for that. And even from a drawing perspective, the more Peshki come off the board, better chance, I think, for White to hold, as long as the king doesn't come under fire here. I agree with you, Danny. And I'll add one more point, that not taking on g3 is very smart of Magnus, because you leave open the option to play h3 check. You don't know if that idea will be useful to you, just to go for a checkmating attack rather than a trade. So White is not capturing on h4. So with that in mind, you don't have to rush your decision to capture on g3, just something to store in our memory banks.
Yep. I love that. The flexibility, right? A lot of times players get those advantages and then they lose their patience. But keeping that option open may be something that wins the game tactically. Let's bring up the analysis board to show everybody. The move queen to b2 was threatening to maybe win the game on the spot if you make some random move. The point is that g3 is pinned here, and e2 is pinned, so g3 is hanging. Magnus bringing pressure all over the board. Now plays bishop d7. Is there a discovery option on the queen?
I guess not now, because and he goes g4, which that's a risky move, because if black can reroute that knight and take over the f4 square, then White's going to be in big trouble. But honestly, Maxime's activity is really nice here. And whoa, you see that huge gifted subs there by Chess Bay?
I did not. And I shall look. Don't have the Chess TV chat up, but thank you so much, Bay. Wowzers. Amazing. Seriously, thank you so much. The last couple semifinal matches have just been amazing. Of course, we know it was the birthday boy's party on December 9th, and he delivered, that being Hikaru Nakamura. But Bay, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone. We've had a lot of subscribers today in general. Those of you who are subscribers, you make these things happen, along with our premium members and sponsors, and we seriously, I know it sounds like I have to say it. Of course I have to say it, but it's also true. Thank you so much. You make these events happen, and we really do appreciate it. All right, queen to b6. Hits the rook. Where does this guy go? Is d5 an option, or do you got to tuck your tail between your legs and back up?
Yeah, rook d5, that rook may just get trapped in the near future, which is funny. It's in the center of the board, but you're running out of real estate. So I think you should back up, but you don't want to, right? Because if you start backing up, then the bishops are going to flex. They work on both sides of the board. Black play knight to f4, trade off those knights. Otherwise, the knight goes from f4 into d3, and he takes on h5.
Look at this.
Oh, my goodness.
Maxime is... I don't think that's a tilt move. I think it's a practical decision there. He really felt like it was his best option, but but I don't think it's going to
Doesn't
work
look
out.
good.
That's the best way to say it.
No, because Black's king only looks like it is in some bad shape because there are no pawns in front of it. You just can't get your pieces in time. The knight can't move. Here comes Black's attack first. Rook F1 is met by Queen C2, threatening Queen G2 mate, and the rook coming down the B file. This is just it.
Yeah, it's almost an optical illusion, right? We say the king is, yes, it's open, and you say, where'd the pawns go? But it's only as good as if you can bring pieces there and attack the king, and Maxime lacks firepower. Rook to B2. What a nice finish. G2 is a problem.
Magnus does not lack firepower.
No. The question is, will he have some sort of puzzle rush finish here, right? The queen moves. Watch out for things like rook G2 and then takes F3, right? Rook G2 check and queen takes F3. Oh, even better. Look at that sick finish. Oh, it's nasty.